I stood at the foot of his hospital bed, checking his vitals, and watched the exact moment my ex-husband recognized me. His eyes went wide. His heart monitor spiked. He tried to speak, but couldn't. The ventilator tube prevented it. Good, because I had nothing to say to him anyway. My name is Rachel Adams. I'm 35 years old, and I'm the ICU nurse who just became responsible for keeping alive the man who destroyed my life 5 years ago. This is the story of how silence became my most powerful weapon. Let me take you back to when I was a different person, a wife, a mother, someone who believed in happy endings. I was 28, married to David for 7 years. We had 2 beautiful children, Emma, 6, and Joshua, 4. I thought we had everything: a nice house in suburban Texas, a loving family, a future. I was wrong about all of it. The betrayal came on an ordinary Tuesday. I came home early from my part-time job at a clinic, wanted to surprise David, make his favorite dinner, be the perfect wife. Instead, I found him in our bedroom, with someone I trusted completely, someone I loved like family, my stepbrother, Marcus, the man I'd grown up with, who'd walked me down the aisle at my wedding when my father was too sick to do it, who was supposed to be family. I stood in the doorway, couldn't move, couldn't breathe, couldn't process. They scrambled, made excuses, begged me to understand, to forgive, to keep quiet. Rachel, please, it was a mistake. It didn't mean anything. Get out, both of you. Get out of my house. But that was just the beginning of the nightmare, because David didn't just betray me. He destroyed me systematically, deliberately, completely. He told the children I was having a breakdown, that Mommy was sick, that Mommy didn't love them anymore. He filed for divorce and painted me as unstable, neglectful, a bad mother who'd abandoned her family. The custody hearing was brutal. David had witnesses, friends he'd coached. He had Marcus backing up his lies. He had a narrative. I was the villain, the abandoner, the one who destroyed our family. I had the truth. But truth without evidence is just a story, and his story was more convincing. The judge awarded David primary custody. I got supervised visitation, 2 weekends a month, like I was the threat to my own children. Emma and Joshua believed their father, believed I'd stopped loving them, believed I'd chosen to leave. David had poisoned them against me so thoroughly they could barely look at me during visits. I was broken, completely broken. Lost my children, lost my home, lost everything. I could have fought harder, could have hired better lawyers, could have contested the lies. But I knew something. Fighting would hurt the kids more, make them pawns in an ugly war, force them to choose sides. So I made a different choice. I left, disappeared, started over. Not because I didn't love them, but because I loved them too much to destroy them in a custody battle. I moved to Houston, 3 hours away, far enough to start fresh, close enough to come back if they ever needed me. I enrolled in nursing school, not the part-time clinic work I'd done before, real nursing, ICU specialization, the hardest, most demanding field I could find, because I needed to focus on something, needed to be so exhausted I couldn't think, couldn't feel, couldn't remember. 5 years. 5 years of brutal work, night shifts, double shifts, studying, training, becoming excellent at something that had nothing to do with the life I'd lost. I built walls, emotional walls, professional detachment. I learned to care for patients without caring about them, to save lives without getting attached to the people I saved. It was survival, pure survival. And it worked. I became one of the best ICU nurses in Houston. Calm under pressure, quick decisions, no emotional attachment to cloud my judgment. My colleagues called me the Ice Queen, meant it as a compliment in our field. Emotions kill patients in the ICU. Cold efficiency saves them. I'd learned to be cold, to be efficient, to be untouchable. Then came the call that changed everything. Rachel, we have an incoming. Severe liver failure, male, 43, critical condition, needs our best. That's you. I'll prep the room. I grabbed the patient file, standard procedure, read through the history, checked the vitals, prepared medications. Then I saw the name. David Adams, age 43, severe alcoholic cirrhosis, liver failure, critical condition. My ex-husband. The man who destroyed me was being wheeled into my ICU, into my care, into my power. I had 10 seconds to react, 10 seconds to feel everything: rage, pain, grief, vindication, before the doors opened and he arrived. I felt it all, every emotion, every memory, every wound. Then I put on my mask, gloved my hands, and became the Ice Queen. Because this wasn't about revenge. This wasn't about justice. This was about showing him exactly who I'd become in his absence. Not the broken woman he'd destroyed, but a professional, an expert, someone who held his life in her hands and would treat him with perfect, cold, professional competence. No anger, no emotion, no personal involvement, just clinical excellence. That was the revenge, that silence, that competence, that complete emotional detachment while being solely responsible for whether he lived or died. I walked into room 4B. David was semi-conscious, jaundiced, dying. A shell of the man who'd once had power over me. He looked at me, recognition slowly dawning through the medication fog. I looked back, no recognition in my eyes, no emotion, just professional assessment. "Mr. Adams," I said calmly, "I'm Rachel. I'll be your primary nurse. We're going to run some tests and adjust your medications." Mr. Adams, not David, not my ex-husband, just another patient, another case, another person whose life I'd save with complete professional detachment. His eyes filled with something. Recognition. Shock. Maybe fear. Good. He should be afraid. Not of me, but of realizing exactly what he'd lost, exactly who I'd become, exactly how powerless he now was. I checked his vitals, adjusted his IV, made notes on his chart, did everything perfectly, professionally, without a single personal word. Then I left, closed the door, went to the nurse's station, sat down, and finally let myself feel it. Not rage, not pain, not even satisfaction, just a profound, quiet understanding. I'd won, not by fighting, but by becoming someone he couldn't touch, couldn't hurt, couldn't affect at all. The best revenge isn't making someone suffer. It's becoming so successful they become irrelevant. And David Adams had just become the most irrelevant person in my life. A patient, a case number, nothing more. That was power, real power, silent, professional, untouchable power. And I was just getting started. My shift was 12 hours. 12 hours of being solely responsible for the man who destroyed my life. I thought it would be hard, thought I'd struggle, thought the emotions would overwhelm me. I was wrong. It was easy, shockingly easy, because he wasn't David anymore. He was room 4B, a patient with severe liver failure, a case to be managed, nothing more. I checked his vitals every hour, monitored his liver function, adjusted medications, did everything by the book, perfectly, professionally. He watched me. Every time I entered the room, eyes following my movements, trying to read my face, looking for emotion, for recognition, for something. He found nothing, because I gave him nothing, just competent medical care, just professional excellence. Around hour 3, he tried to speak. The ventilator was out, but his voice was weak, raspy, barely audible. "Rachel." "Yes, Mr. Adams? Do you need something? Pain medication? Water?" "Rachel, I didn't know you were here. I didn't know you were a nurse." "ICU specialist, actually. I've been working here for 3 years, top of my department. Is there something medical I can help you with?" We need to talk." About, Mr. Adams, my job is to keep you alive, not to have personal conversations. If you have questions about your treatment, I can answer those. Otherwise, you should rest. Your liver is in critical condition. I watched him process that. The coldness, the professional distance, the complete lack of personal engagement. The kids, he said weakly, Emma and Joshua, they're with my sister. If something happens, you can discuss that with the social worker. I'll send someone up. Now I need to check your catheter. This may be uncomfortable. I did my job efficiently, clinically, while he lay there helpless, dependent on me for everything, for life itself. The power dynamic had completely reversed. 5 years ago, he'd had all the power, had taken my children, my home, my life, had made me powerless. Now I controlled whether he ate, whether he got pain medication, whether he was comfortable or uncomfortable, whether he lived or died. I didn't abuse that power. That would be unprofessional, unethical, wrong. I gave him excellent care, the same care I'd give any critical patient. But the power was there, unspoken, undeniable, obvious to both of us. Around hour 6, my colleague Sarah approached. Hey, you okay? You've been in 4B a lot. That's a tough case. I'm fine, just monitoring closely. He's critical. You sure? You seem, tense? Usually you're so calm. I'm calm, just focused. He needs intensive monitoring. Okay, but if you need a break, just say so. I can cover. I don't need a break. I didn't. This wasn't difficult. This was therapeutic. Every professional interaction was proof that I'd survived, that I'd thrived, that he couldn't hurt me anymore. Hour 8 brought visitors. David's sister, Patricia. I remembered her vaguely from before. She'd testified against me in the custody hearing, said I was unstable, unpredictable, a bad influence on the children. She walked into the ICU family waiting room. I was at the nurse's station. She didn't recognize me. Why would she? Last time she saw me, I was a broken housewife. Now I was a professional in scrubs with a badge that said Senior ICU Specialist. Excuse me, I'm here to see David Adams, room 4B. I looked up, made her wait a beat. Visiting hours are limited in ICU, 10 minutes maximum. He's critically ill. I understand. I'm his sister. I need to see him. Of course, I'll take you back. I'm Rachel, his primary nurse. She followed me. Still no recognition. I opened the door to 4B. David, you have a visitor. 10 minutes. Don't tire him out. I walked away. I didn't stay to see her reaction, didn't care. Just went back to my station, did my paperwork, remained professional. 9 minutes later, Patricia rushed out, looking for me, finding me at the station. You're Rachel? David's ex-wife, Rachel? I'm Rachel Adams, Senior ICU Specialist, your brother's nurse. But you're treating David? Yes, I'm his primary nurse. Is there a problem with his care? No, doesn't this seem inappropriate, given your history? My personal history is irrelevant to my professional responsibilities. Your brother is receiving excellent care, the same care any critical patient receives. If you have concerns about his treatment, you can speak to my supervisor. Otherwise, visiting hours are over. David recognized you. He's upset. Mr. Adams's emotional state is understandable given his condition. He's facing liver failure. That's frightening for any patient. I'll have the doctor discuss his prognosis with him. That's not what I meant. I need to get back to my rounds. If you have questions about visiting hours or his treatment plan, there's information at the desk. I walked away, left her standing there, confused, uncomfortable, powerless to change anything. Because I wasn't doing anything wrong. I was being professional, excellent even, following every protocol, providing outstanding care. The fact that it made David uncomfortable, that was just an unavoidable consequence of him ending up in my ICU. Not my fault, not my problem. Hour 10 brought the shift supervisor, Dr. Martinez. She pulled me aside. Rachel, we need to talk about your patient in 4B. Is there a problem with his care? No, his care is impeccable. But his sister filed a complaint, says there's a personal relationship, a conflict of interest. There was a personal relationship, past tense, over 5 years ago. We're divorced. I haven't seen him since. Tonight was the first time we've been in the same room in 5 years. She's claiming you're treating him poorly. She's claiming that, or she's worried I might, because his chart shows excellent care. Every protocol followed, every medication timed perfectly, every vital sign monitored appropriately. If there's a clinical concern, I'm happy to address it. Dr. Martinez smiled slightly. There's no clinical concern. Your work is, as always, impeccable. But Rachel, is this wise? Taking care of your ex-husband? Don't you think someone else should handle this case? Do you think I'm capable of providing professional care, regardless of personal history? Of course. Then I'd like to continue, unless you're ordering me to recuse myself? I'm not ordering anything. I'm asking if you're comfortable. I'm completely comfortable. He's a patient. I'm a nurse. That's the entire relationship. Okay, but if at any point it becomes too much, it won't, but I appreciate your concern. She left. I went back to work. Hour 11 brought medication rounds. Hour 12 brought shift change. I gave report to the night nurse. David Adams, room 4B, liver failure, critical but stable. Meds on schedule, no complications. Watch his ammonia levels. They were creeping up. May need dosage adjustment. Got it. Tough case? Not particularly, just needs close monitoring. You're off tomorrow? Yeah, back Thursday. I gathered my things, walked past room 4B. David was awake, watching the door, watching for me. I didn't stop, didn't say goodbye, didn't acknowledge him at all, just walked past like he was any other patient whose shift was over, because that's exactly what he was. Another patient, another case, another person I'd kept alive for 12 hours. The best part? I'd be back in 2 days. 2 more days of professional, detached, excellent care. 2 more days of showing him exactly who I'd become. Not the broken woman he'd destroyed, but someone completely untouchable. That was the sweetest revenge of all. I came back Thursday. David was still there, still critical, still my patient, still completely dependent on me. But something had changed. His sister had brought someone, 2 someones, Emma and Joshua, my children, who I hadn't seen in 5 years, who'd been taught to hate me, who believed I'd abandoned them. They were in the family waiting room when I arrived for my shift. Emma was 11 now. Joshua was 9. I recognized them instantly, would have recognized them anywhere. They didn't recognize me. Why would they? Last time they saw me, I was their mommy. Now I was just a nurse walking past, a stranger in scrubs. My heart stopped. Every defense I'd built crumbled for just a second. My babies, my children, right there, 10 feet away. Then I rebuilt, put the walls back up, became professional again, because I had a job to do, and breaking down in the ICU hallway wasn't it. I went to the nurses' station, checked the board. David was still mine, room 4B. I pulled up his chart, focused on numbers, on data, on medical information that had nothing to do with the fact that my children were 20 feet away. Sarah noticed. You okay? You look pale. I'm fine. Rachel, what's wrong? Nothing. I need to do rounds. I avoided the waiting room, took the long way to 4B, entered David's room prepared to be completely professional. He was awake, alert, looked at me with something like desperation. Rachel, please, I need to talk to you. Mr. Adams, I need to check your vitals. The kids are here, Emma and Joshua. They're outside. I'm aware. I saw them in the waiting room. Now, let me check your blood pressure. They're asking about you. Patricia told them you're my nurse. They're confused. That's between you and your children. I'm here to provide medical care. Rachel, please. They think you abandoned them. They think you didn't love them. They need to understand. Mr. Adams, what your children think is not my professional concern. My concern is your liver function, which is deteriorating. Your ammonia levels are elevated. We need to adjust your medication. I'm dying. You know I'm dying. I need to fix this before... You're not dying today, not on my shift, but you are very ill, which is why you need to rest and let me do my job. I checked his vitals, made notes, adjusted his medications, did everything by the book. While he lay there begging with his eyes for something I couldn't give him, personal engagement, forgiveness, acknowledgement of the past, something human beyond clinical care, I gave him nothing. Because that's what he'd given me 5 years ago. Nothing. No custody, no children, no acknowledgement of the truth. Now it was his turn to get nothing. Your sister wants to bring the children in. I've told her it's against ICU policy for children under 12, but she's insistent. Can you make an exception? I can ask the attending, but Mr. Adams, I want to be clear. If the children come in, I'll still be your nurse. I'll still be in the room. I won't hide. I won't pretend to be someone else. I'll be exactly who I am, your nurse. They'll recognize you. Perhaps. That's not my concern. My concern is whether you're stable enough for visitors. You're critical. Stress could worsen your condition. I need to see them. Please, help me see them. I looked at him, this broken man, this person who'd once had power over me, now begging me for help with the children he'd stolen from me. The irony was almost poetic. I'll speak to Dr. Martinez. No promises. I left, found Dr. Martinez, made the request. Purely professional, medical reasoning. Patient in 4B is requesting to see his children, ages 11 and 9. Normally against policy, but given his critical prognosis, it may be therapeutic. I recommend supervised visitation, 5 minutes maximum. You think he's that bad? His liver function is declining. He may not have much time. If he has minor children who need to say goodbye, we should facilitate that. Agreed. Make it happen. But Rachel, are you sure you want to be there, given that they're also your... I'm assigned to that patient. I'll maintain professional boundaries. The children don't know me. It's been 5 years. I'm just their father's nurse. Okay, your call. I went back to the waiting room. Patricia was there with Emma and Joshua, reading books, trying to distract them from the scary hospital environment. Mrs. Henderson, you can bring the children in. 5 minutes. They need to understand he's very sick. There are tubes and machines. It may be frightening. Thank you. Kids, let's go see your dad. Remember what I said. He doesn't look good, but he loves you. They stood. Emma, tall for her age, Joshua, small and scared, both looking at me like I was just another hospital person, just another stranger. I led them to room 4B, prepared them for what they'd see. Your dad is on a lot of medication. He has tubes to help him breathe and eat. He looks sick because he is sick, but he can hear you. You can talk to him. I opened the door, let them go in first. Patricia followed. I stayed by the door, professional, detached, just monitoring the situation. David's eyes filled with tears when he saw them. Emma, Joshua, come here. They approached cautiously. Emma brave, Joshua hiding behind his sister. Just like they used to hide behind me when they were scared. Hi, Daddy, Emma said. Aunt Patricia says you're really sick. I am, sweetheart, but I'm so glad you're here. I needed to see you. Are you going to be okay? I hope so. The doctors are helping me, and the nurses are taking very good care of me. Joshua noticed me for the first time. Is that your nurse? Yes, her name is Rachel. She's been very kind. Emma looked at me, really looked, and I saw the moment, the recognition, the confusion, the memory clicking into place. Rachel, that's Mommy's name. Silence. Complete silence. David looking at me, Patricia looking at me, Emma staring at me, Joshua confused. Emma, David started, but Emma was walking toward me, slowly, studying my face, trying to reconcile memory with reality. You look like, are you our mom? I had a choice. Lie, protect them from confusion, maintain professional boundaries, or tell the truth. I chose truth. Yes, I'm your mother and your father's ICU nurse. The room exploded. Emma stared at me. Joshua started crying. Patricia gasped. David closed his eyes. You're our mom? But But Daddy said you left, that you didn't want us anymore, that you chose to go away. I knelt down, eye level with Emma, professional mask cracking for the first time in 5 years. That's not what happened, but this isn't the right time or place to explain. Your father is very sick. You came to visit him. That's what matters right now. But you're here. You're his nurse. How? I'm a nurse. This is my job. Your father is my patient. I'm taking care of him. Do you still love us? The question broke me, completely broke me. Every wall I'd built shattered. Every single day, every single moment. I have never stopped loving you. Joshua ran to me, actually ran, wrapped his arms around me. Mommy, you're really here? You came back? I held him, felt 5 years of missing him, of crying myself to sleep, of wondering if he remembered me. I'm here, baby. I'm here. Patricia intervened. Okay, this is too much. The children are confused. Rachel, you need to leave. I'm the assigned nurse. I'm not leaving. This is inappropriate. What's inappropriate is lying to children about why their mother disappeared. But we're not discussing that now. We're discussing Mr. Adams's medical care, which I'm providing. If you want to file another complaint, the social worker's office is down the hall. Dr. Martinez appeared in the doorway. What's going on? I heard raised voices. Nothing, Dr. Martinez. Just a family visiting their father. Everything's under control. Rachel, maybe you should take a break. Let someone else cover this room. With respect, doctor, no. This patient is critical. I know his case. I know his medications. Switching nurses mid-crisis would be dangerous. I'm staying. She studied me, saw something in my face. Determination, professionalism, refusal to back down. Okay, but the children need to leave. ICU policy. 5 minutes are up. Patricia started herding Emma and Joshua toward the door. Emma resisted. But we just found Mom. We can't leave. You're not leaving me, I said firmly. I work here. I'm not going anywhere. But your father needs rest, and you need to process this somewhere that's not a hospital room. When can we see you again? I'm here every Thursday and Friday, 12-hour shifts. You can call the nurses' station. Ask for Rachel. I'll talk to you. I promise. You promise you won't disappear again? I promise. But Emma, understand something. I never disappeared before. I was forced away. There's a difference. We'll talk about it when you're ready. Patricia got them out. The room emptied. Just David and me remained, both of us processing what just happened. You told them, he said weakly. You expected me to lie? To pretend to be someone else? To hide from my own children? I didn't expect you to be here at all. Neither did I. But here we are. You're dying of liver failure in my ICU. Your children just discovered their mother didn't abandon them. Your sister, who testified against me, is filing complaints about my professionalism. It's all very ironic. Rachel, I'm sorry. For all of it. For the affair, for the custody battle, for turning them against you. I was angry, hurt, selfish. I destroyed everything. Yes, you did. And now you're dying, and I'm the one keeping you alive. How does that feel? Like justice? No, justice would be me letting you die. This is mercy, professional mercy. I'm saving your life because that's my job, not because you deserve it. I know I don't deserve it. You're right, you don't. But your children deserve a father, even a father who lied to them, even a father who's dying. They deserve the chance to say goodbye properly, to understand the truth before you're gone. Are you going to tell them everything? I'm going to tell them the truth, which is that you had an affair, that we divorced, that you fought for custody and won, that I left because staying would have hurt them more, that I never stopped loving them, that I built a new life because I had no choice. They'll hate me. Maybe, maybe not. That's between you and them. But David, you don't have much time to fix this. Your liver is failing. You're not responding to treatment. You have weeks, maybe days. Use that time wisely. How? Stop lying. Stop protecting yourself. Tell them the truth, all of it. Give them closure. Give them understanding. Give them something real before you die. What about you? Do you want closure? I looked at him, this dying man, this person who'd destroyed my life, who'd stolen my children, who was now completely powerless, completely dependent on me. I already have closure. The moment you were wheeled into my ICU, I got closure. Because I realized something. You don't matter anymore. You can't hurt me, can't affect me, can't touch the life I've built. You're just a patient, a case, a person I'll keep alive because that's my job. That's all you are to me. That's cruel. That's honest. And David, you taught me to be this way. You taught me that feelings make you vulnerable, that caring makes you weak, that the only way to survive is to become untouchable. So I did. I became exactly what you forced me to become. And now, here we are. I checked his vitals, made notes, prepared to leave. You have 4 hours until my shift ends. Use that time to think about what you're going to tell Emma and Joshua, because they're coming back, and they're going to have questions. A lot of questions. Will you be here when they come? Yes, I'm assigned to you. I'll be here. Will you help me? Help me explain? I stopped at the door, turned back. No, this is your mess. You created it. You fix it. I'm just the nurse who's keeping you alive long enough to try. I walked out, went to the break room, sat in the dark, let myself feel everything for 5 minutes. Then I stood up, washed my face, put my professional mask back on, went back to work. Because that's what I did. I survived. I persevered. I remained untouchable. Even when my children appeared. Even when my past collided with my present. Even when everything I'd built was tested. I remained professional, calm, detached, excellent. The Ice Queen. Because that's what kept me safe. That's what kept me strong. That's what kept me from breaking. And I wasn't breaking. Not now. Not ever again. 3 days later, I was back. David was worse. Liver function declining rapidly. Doctor gave him 2 weeks maximum, maybe less. Emma and Joshua came every day. Patricia brought them. They'd ask for me at the nurse's station. Want to talk. Want answers. Want their mother. I gave them 20 minutes each visit. During breaks, in the family conference room, away from David, away from Patricia. Just us. The first real conversation was painful. Why did you leave us? Emma asked. Direct, brave, 11 years old, demanding truth. I didn't leave you. I was forced out. There's a difference. Dad said you had a breakdown, that you couldn't handle being a mom anymore. Your father lied. I was handling being a mom just fine, until I found out he was having an affair with my stepbrother. In our house, in our bed. Emma's eyes went wide. Dad cheated on you? Yes, and when I found out, I asked for a divorce. Your father fought for custody. He had better lawyers, more money, more witnesses willing to lie. The judge believed him. I lost. But you could have fought more. You could have stayed. I could have. But Emma listened to me. Custody battles destroy children. You and Joshua would have been questioned, interviewed, forced to choose between parents, turned into weapons. I couldn't do that to you. So you just left? I left the situation. I didn't leave you. I moved to Houston, built a career, stayed close enough that if you ever needed me, I could be there in 3 hours, but far enough that I wasn't making your life harder. We thought you didn't love us. I loved you so much that I let you go. That's what love sometimes means, protecting you from pain even when it breaks your own heart. Joshua was crying. Did you think about us? Every single day, every single night. I have photos of you on my phone, from Facebook, Patricia's posts. I watched you grow up from a distance, celebrated every milestone, cried through every birthday I missed. But I knew you were safer not knowing I was there, safer believing the lie than living through a custody war. That's not fair. We deserve to know. You're right, you did. But life isn't fair, and parents have to make impossible choices. I made mine. Maybe it was wrong, but it was what I thought was best for you." Emma was processing, thinking. You could see her young mind working through complex emotions. "Are you going to be in our lives now that we know?" "That depends on you and your father and what happens in the next few weeks." "Dad's dying, isn't he?" I nodded. No point lying. They needed truth. "Yes, his liver is failing. He's on the transplant list, but he's not strong enough for surgery. He has maybe 2 weeks." "What happens to us when he dies?" "You'll live with Patricia. She's been designated guardian, unless..." "Unless what?" "Unless your father changes that before he dies. Unless he acknowledges that I'm your mother and should have rights. Unless he tells the truth." "Will he do that?" "I don't know. He should, but I don't control what he does." Over the next week, Emma and Joshua visited daily, talked to David, talked to me, processed, grieved, understood, started putting together the real story of why their family had broken apart. I maintained professional boundaries with David, still just his nurse, still cold, still detached, still keeping him alive. But with the children, I let the walls down, answered questions, hugged them, let them see the mother they'd lost 5 years ago. Emma was angry at David, at Patricia, at the system that had taken her mother away. "This is so messed up. All these years we thought you abandoned us, and you were just trying to protect us?" "Yes." "I hate him. I hate Dad for lying." "Don't. He's dying. You don't want that to be the last thing you feel about him." "Why are you defending him?" "I'm not. I'm protecting you. Hate is poison. It'll hurt you more than it hurts him. Trust me. I know." "Were you angry when he took us?" I was destroyed, completely destroyed. For about a year, I could barely function. But then I realized staying destroyed was letting him win. So I rebuilt, became someone new, someone stronger, someone he couldn't hurt anymore. "Is that why you became a nurse?" "Partially. I became a nurse because I needed to focus on something, needed a purpose, needed to become excellent at something that proved I wasn't the broken woman everyone thought I was. And now you're taking care of him, the man who destroyed you. Isn't that weird?" "It's ironic, but not weird. He's just a patient. I'm just a nurse. That's the only relationship that matters now." "Do you still love him?" "No. I stopped loving him the day I found him with Marcus. You can't love someone who betrays you that completely." "Do you hate him?" "No. Hate requires caring. I don't care about him anymore. He's just a dying patient who happens to be my children's father. That's all." "That's so cold." "That's survival. Emma, listen to me. In life, you have 2 choices when someone destroys you. You can stay broken, or you can rebuild so strong they can never break you again. I chose the second option. I want to be like you, strong like you." "You're already strong. You're asking hard questions, facing difficult truths, processing complex emotions. That takes courage." Joshua was quieter, processing differently. One day he asked, "Do you have a house? Can we see where you live?" "I have an apartment, small but comfortable. You can visit any time. After Dad dies?" "Yes, after that." "Will we live with you?" "I hope so, but legally that's complicated. Patricia is your guardian. Changing that requires lawyers, court, proof that I'm fit. It's a battle." "Another custody battle?" "Yes, but this time I'll fight. Because you're old enough to choose, old enough to tell a judge what you want, old enough that your voices matter." "We want you. We want to live with you." "Then we'll make it happen, I promise." On day 10, David asked to see me, not as his nurse, as Rachel, as his ex-wife, as the mother of his children. "They know everything," he said weakly. "I told them about Marcus, about the lies, about the custody battle. Everything." "Good. They deserved the truth. They're angry. Emma won't even look at me. She'll work through it. But David, you're running out of time. You need to fix this legally. Sign papers. Give me custody. Make it official before you die." "Patricia will fight it." "Let her. I'll win, but it'll be easier if you do this right, if you acknowledge the truth, if you give them back to me willingly. I'm scared. Of what? Of dying alone, of them hating me, of leaving them without fixing what I broke. Then fix it. You have maybe a week. Use it wisely. He looked at me, this dying man, this person who'd destroyed everything. Do you forgive me? No. Will you ever? I don't know. Maybe. Someday. When I've processed all of this. But David, my forgiveness doesn't matter. What matters is whether your children can forgive you, whether they can remember you as something other than the man who lied to them. Focus on that. Thank you for keeping me alive, for being professional, for being better than I deserve. I'm not being better. I'm being competent. There's a difference. But maybe that wasn't entirely true. Maybe some part of me was being merciful, giving him time to fix his mistakes, to make peace with his children, to die with some dignity. Not because he deserved it, but because Emma and Joshua deserved a father who told the truth before he died. That was mercy. Not for him, for them. And maybe that was the best revenge of all, being the bigger person, being the one who held all the power and chose to use it wisely. That was victory, real victory, silent, powerful, undeniable victory. Day 12. David was fading fast, jaundiced, confused, slipping in and out of consciousness. The end was coming. I was checking his vitals when he grabbed my hand. Weak grip, desperate. Rachel, need to sign. Sign what? Custody, papers. Patricia brought them. Won't let me sign. Says I'm not thinking clearly. But I am. I know what I'm doing. Where are the papers? Her purse. She took them. Won't give them back. Rachel, please, I need to fix this. Before I die, need to give them back to you. I found Patricia in the waiting room. Mrs. Henderson, your brother is asking for custody documents. Do you have them? Those documents are a mistake. David's on heavy medication. He's not competent to make legal decisions. Dr. Martinez evaluated him this morning. He's lucid, oriented, capable of making informed decisions. If he wants to sign custody documents, that's his right. You put him up to this. You manipulated a dying man. I did nothing. Your brother asked his lawyer to draw up papers. His lawyer complied. Now he wants to sign them. You can either facilitate that or obstruct it. But if you obstruct, I'll document it. And when this goes to court, and it will go to court, that obstruction will be noted. You can't threaten me. I'm not threatening. I'm informing. Now, do you have the documents or not? She reluctantly pulled them from her purse. Custody transfer papers, naming me as primary guardian, revoking Patricia's guardianship. Signed by David's lawyer, notarized. Just needed David's signature. I'll need witnesses, I said. Hospital policy requires 2 witnesses for legal documents signed by critical patients. Fine, but I'm not witnessing. I don't support this. I don't need your support. I need your cooperation. Or your absence. Your choice. She stayed. Angry. Resentful. But stayed. Because she wanted to see this happen. Wanted to be able to say she was there. Wanted evidence for whatever legal challenge she was planning. I brought the documents to David's room. Called Dr. Martinez and the social worker. Mr. Adams is signing legal documents. We need medical witnesses to confirm competency. Dr. Martinez examined David. Asked orientation questions, confirmed he understood what he was signing. He's lucid, competent, capable of informed consent. I'll witness. The social worker agreed. I placed the documents in front of David. These papers give me primary custody of Emma and Joshua. They revoke Patricia's guardianship. They acknowledge that the original custody arrangement was based on false information. Do you understand what you're signing? Yes. Giving my kids back. To their mother, where they belong. Should have done this years ago. Then sign. His hand shook. The signature was barely legible, but it was there, legal, binding, witnessed by medical professionals who documented his competency. Patricia exploded. This is fraud. He's dying. He doesn't know what he's doing. Mrs. Henderson, your brother just passed a competency evaluation. He's oriented, informed, and making a conscious choice. The documents are valid. If you want to challenge them, you'll need to file with family court. I will. You haven't won yet. I never said I won. I said your brother made a choice. How you respond to that choice is up to you. She stormed out. David closed his eyes, exhausted. Thank you for letting me fix this, for giving me the chance. You didn't need my permission. They're your children. No, they're your children. Always were. I stole them. I'm just giving them back. Why now? Why wait until you're dying? Because I was a coward, proud, stubborn, couldn't admit I was wrong, couldn't face what I'd done. Death has a way of forcing honesty. When you know you're running out of time, the lies don't matter anymore. Only the truth matters. You should tell them that. Emma especially. She's struggling, angry at you, angry at the situation. She needs to hear that you're sorry, that you acknowledge what you did. Will she forgive me? I don't know, but she needs the apology regardless. Not for you, for her, so she can process this, so she can heal. Will you bring them? Tomorrow? I need to talk to them. One last time, before I can't anymore. I'll call Patricia, set it up. But David, this is your last chance. Make it count. Tell them everything. No more lies, no more protecting yourself. Just truth. I will, I promise. I left his room, went to the break room, sat in the dark, let myself feel something I hadn't felt in 5 years. Not satisfaction, not vindication, not even relief. Something softer, something complicated, something like closure beginning. David was dying. My children were coming back to me. The custody battle I'd lost 5 years ago was being reversed. The lies were being corrected. The truth was emerging. It wasn't victory. It was just resolution. Messy, painful, incomplete, but real. Sarah found me there. You okay? I'm processing. David signed the papers? He did. Patricia's furious. She's in the waiting room calling lawyers, making threats, telling everyone who'll listen that you manipulated a dying man. Let her. The papers are legal. The witnesses are credible. She can challenge all she wants. She'll lose. How do you know? Because Emma and Joshua are old enough to testify, old enough to tell a judge what they want. And they want me. That's all that matters. What about you? What do you want? My children, my life back, the family I lost. That's all I've ever wanted. You're getting it. After 5 years, you're finally getting it. Am I? Patricia's right about one thing. This isn't over. The legal battle is just beginning. She'll fight. She'll claim I'm unfit. She'll dig up my past. She'll make this ugly. And you'll win. Because you're not the broken woman she remembers. You're a senior ICU specialist. You're respected. You're stable. You're everything a judge wants to see in a parent. I hope you're right. I am. Rachel, you've been preparing for this moment for 5 years. Maybe you didn't know it, but every time you came to work, every time you excelled, every time you proved you were competent and strong and capable, you were building evidence. Evidence that you're exactly the kind of mother Emma and Joshua need. Thank you for believing in me, for supporting me through all of this. Always. Now, go home, rest. Tomorrow's going to be hard. David's final conversation with the kids. You'll need to be strong. She was right. Tomorrow would be hard. But I'd been through hard before. I'd survived betrayal, divorce, loss, 5 years of missing my children, building a new life from nothing. I could survive one more hard day, one more difficult conversation, one more step toward getting my family back. I went home, slept fitfully, dreamed of Emma and Joshua as babies, as toddlers, as the children I'd lost, as the preteens they'd become. Tomorrow, David would tell them goodbye, would apologize, would try to make peace before dying. And I'd be there, not as his nurse, not as his ex-wife, but as their mother. Finally, after 5 years, their mother, coming home. Day 13. David was barely conscious, liver failure accelerating. Maybe 24 hours left, maybe less. Emma and Joshua arrived at 2 p.m. I met them at the entrance. No Patricia. She'd refused to come. Said she couldn't support this farce. Fine, less drama. Is he awake? Emma asked, nervous, scared, still angry but also grieving. Complex emotions for an 11-year-old. In and out, but he asked for you. He's been waiting. He has things he needs to say. Is he going to die today? Probably not today, but soon. Maybe tomorrow, maybe the day after. His body is shutting down. I don't know if I can do this. You can. You're stronger than you think, both of you. And I'll be there, right outside the room. If you need me, I'm there. We walked to ICU. David was awake, alert as he could be, eyes clear despite the jaundice, waiting. Hi, Daddy, Emma said softly, tears already forming. Hi, baby girl. Hi, Josh. Come here, sit down. I need to talk to you. They sat. I stood by the door, present but not intrusive, supportive but letting them have space. David took a shaky breath. I'm dying. You know that. And before I go, I need to tell you some things, true things, hard things, things I should have told you years ago. Okay, Emma whispered. I lied to you about your mom, about why she left, about everything. She didn't abandon you. I drove her away. I cheated on her. I hurt her. And when she tried to fight for you, I used lawyers and money and lies to take you from her. Why? Because I was angry, ashamed, guilty. I'd destroyed our family. But instead of taking responsibility, I blamed her, made her the villain, made you believe she didn't love you. And that was the cruelest thing I could have done. Joshua was crying. But you said she didn't want us. You said she chose to leave. I lied. She wanted you desperately. She loved you more than anything. But she knew if she fought me in court, it would hurt you more. The custody battle would destroy you. So she left. Not because she didn't love you, because she loved you too much to put you through that. So all these years? Emma couldn't finish. Too many emotions. Too much betrayal. All these years your mom was 3 hours away, building a career, becoming someone strong, watching you from a distance, waiting for the day she could be part of your lives again. And I kept you from her. I kept you from knowing the truth. That was my sin, my crime, and I'm so, so sorry. You lied to us for 5 years, Emma said, angry now. You made us think our mom didn't love us. Do you know how much that hurt? I do now, and I'm sorry. I can't undo it, can't take back the years, can't fix the damage, but I can give you the truth now, and I can give you back to her. I signed papers, legal papers, making her your guardian. When I die, you'll live with her, your real mom, where you always should have been. What about Aunt Patricia? Patricia will fight it. She thinks she's protecting you, but she's not. She's protecting her pride, her sense of control. Your mom is the right person, the best person, and you'll see that in time. Are you scared, Joshua asked, of dying? Terrified, but also relieved. I've lived with guilt for 5 years, knowing what I did to your mom, knowing I turned you against her. That weight has been crushing. Death means release from that, from the guilt, from the shame. Will you go to heaven? Joshua asked. Innocent question, theological question, child trying to process mortality. I don't know, buddy. I hope so. But if there is a heaven, I've got a lot to answer for, a lot of apologies to make, to your mom especially. Mom's here, Emma said, at the door. She's been listening. David looked at me. Rachel, come in, please. I need to say something to you in front of them. I approached the bed, professional mask slipping, emotional armor cracking, standing before the man who'd destroyed me, who was now dying, who was trying to make amends. I'm sorry, he said, voice breaking, for all of it, for the affair, for the custody battle, for the lies, for stealing 5 years you should have had with them, for making you the villain when I was the one who destroyed everything. I'm sorry. And I know sorry isn't enough, can never be enough, but it's all I have left to give. I looked at him, this dying man, this person who'd once been my husband, who'd once been my future, who'd become my destroyer, who is now my patient, my children's father, a person begging for forgiveness he didn't deserve. I don't forgive you, I said quietly. Not yet. Maybe not ever. What you did was unforgivable. You didn't just hurt me. You hurt them. You stole their mother. You poisoned their memories. You lied to them about love. That's unforgivable. I know. But, I continued, I acknowledge your apology. I recognize you're trying. And I appreciate that you signed the custody papers, that you're telling them the truth, that you're giving them closure before you die. That matters. Maybe not enough, but it matters. Thank you for keeping me alive, for being professional, for being better than I deserved. I wasn't being better, I was being competent. But David, I'm glad you're using your last days to fix what you broke. Emma and Joshua deserve that. They deserve a father who tells the truth, even if it's at the end. Will you help them after I'm gone? Help them process this? Help them understand? That's what mothers do. I'll be there for everything, for the grief, for the anger, for the confusion, for the healing. I'll be there, the way I should have been for the last 5 years. He nodded, exhausted. The conversation had drained what little energy he had left. Kids, come here. One more hug. Then I need to rest. Emma and Joshua hugged him, carefully, gently, hugging a dying father who'd lied to them, but who they still loved. Complex love, damaged love, but love nonetheless. I love you both, David whispered. I always did. I just showed it terribly, selfishly, destructively. But I loved you. Remember that. When you're angry at me, when you're processing this, remember, I loved you. Imperfectly, damagingly, but real. We love you too, Daddy, Emma said, crying. Even though you lied, even though you hurt us, we love you. They left. I escorted them to the waiting room, sat with them. Let them cry, let them process. Let them be children dealing with impossible adult situations. Is it okay to be sad? Emma asked. Even though he lied? Even though he hurt us? Is it okay to miss him? Of course. Love isn't simple. You can be angry at someone and still love them. Can be hurt by someone and still grieve them. That's normal. That's human. I feel so confused. Confusion is appropriate. This is confusing. But Emma, Joshua, you'll work through this. With time, with support, with honesty. You'll understand. You'll heal. You'll be okay. Promise? Promise. David died at 3:17 a.m., 2 days later. I wasn't there. My shift had ended. But Sarah called me, told me peacefully. In his sleep. No pain, just gone. I felt something. Not grief, not satisfaction, just finality. A chapter closing, a book ending, a story concluded. I called Emma and Joshua, told them gently, let them cry, promised I'd be there for the funeral, for everything after. Their father was gone, but their mother was back. Finally, completely, permanently. The battle wasn't over. Patricia would fight. Lawyers would be involved. Court dates would be set. But the hardest part was done. David had told the truth, signed the papers, given them closure, and died knowing he'd tried, however late, however inadequate, to fix what he'd broken. That would have to be enough. Patricia filed her challenge 3 days after the funeral. Petition to void David's custody transfer, claims of undue influence, allegations of manipulation, accusations that I'd taken advantage of a dying man. My lawyer, Jennifer Chen, was unimpressed. This is weak. She has no evidence of manipulation. Multiple witnesses confirm David's competency. Medical records support that he was lucid and informed. She's going to lose. She doesn't care about winning. She cares about making this difficult, making me suffer, punishing me for existing. Probably, but Rachel, you need to understand. Family court will investigate. They'll look at your history, the original custody arrangement, the reasons you left, your current stability, your living situation, everything. I have nothing to hide. Good, because they'll dig deep. Be prepared. This could get ugly. It got ugly. Patricia's lawyer subpoenaed records, my medical records, financial records, employment history, everything, looking for dirt, looking for reasons I was unfit. They found nothing, because there was nothing to find. I'd spent 5 years building a clean, stable, successful life. No debt, no criminal record, no substance issues, no mental health crises. Just a competent professional with an excellent career. The home visit was scheduled. Social worker came to my apartment, small but clean. 2 bedrooms, one for me, one for Emma and Joshua to share until I could afford bigger. Modest, but adequate. This is where the children would live? The social worker asked, making notes, evaluating everything. Yes, it's not large, but it's safe, clean, close to good schools, and once I have custody finalized, I'll look for something bigger. 3 bedrooms, a house maybe. But this works for now. What's your work schedule? 3 12-hour shifts per week, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I'd arranged childcare for those days. My colleague Sarah has already offered to help, and Emma's old enough to watch Joshua for short periods. Income? $85,000 per year, plus overtime. I'm financially stable, no debt, good credit. I can provide for them comfortably. Why did you leave 5 years ago? Because staying would have hurt them more. My ex-husband had turned them against me, made me the villain. Fighting him in court would have traumatized them, made them choose, turned them into weapons. I couldn't do that to children. So you abandoned them? I left the situation, not the children. I moved to Houston, built a career, stayed close enough to return if needed, watched them from a distance, waited for the opportunity to be part of their lives again. That opportunity came when your ex-husband ended up in your ICU? Correct. I didn't plan it, didn't orchestrate it. It was random assignment. But yes, that's when they discovered I hadn't abandoned them, that I'd been watching, waiting, loving them from afar. Some might say that's manipulative, using his illness to gain access. Some might say that. They'd be wrong. I provided excellent medical care, professional, ethical. I didn't manipulate anyone. I just did my job. The rest, the custody documents, the truth-telling, the reconciliation, that was David's choice, his decision, his attempt to fix what he'd broken before dying. The children want to live with you? Ask them yourself. They're old enough. Their voices matter. Emma and Joshua were interviewed separately, private sessions with the social worker. They told their stories, the lies they'd been told, the truth they'd discovered, the mother they'd lost and found again. I want to live with my mom, Emma said firmly. Sarah told me later, she'd been present as a support person, not with Aunt Patricia. Mom's my mother. She always was. Dad took her away. Now he's gone. I want her back. Joshua echoed the same. I love Aunt Patricia, but Mom's my mom. I missed her. I want to live with her. Please. The court date was set, 60 days after filing. Patricia's lawyer came armed with arguments. I was unstable. I'd abandoned the children once. I'd do it again. I worked long hours. I couldn't provide adequate supervision. I'd manipulated a dying man. On and on. Jennifer demolished each argument. Mrs. Adams has a stable career, excellent income, clean record, no history of neglect or abuse. She left a toxic situation to protect the children from a traumatic custody battle. That's not abandonment. That's sacrifice. She could have fought. She chose her children's well-being over her own desires. That's good parenting. Now, 5 years later, the children are old enough to express their preferences. They want their mother. This court should honor that. Patricia testified, emotional, tearful. Those children are all I have left of my brother. Rachel poisoned David against me, manipulated him on his deathbed. She's going to hurt those kids. I know it. How do you know? The judge asked. Because she left them once, she'll leave again. She left because your brother lied in court and won custody through fraud. The original custody arrangement was based on false testimony. Are you disputing that? I'm disputing her fitness. She works long hours. She lives in a small apartment. She can't provide what I can provide. What can you provide that she can't? Stability, a home, family, love. Mrs. Henderson, the social worker's report indicates Mrs. Adams provides all of those things, plus something you can't provide. She's their mother. That matters. Now, unless you have evidence of actual unfitness, substance abuse, neglect, criminal activity, this court is inclined to honor the custody transfer David Adams signed before his death. Patricia's lawyer tried one more argument. Your Honor, we question whether David Adams was competent when he signed those documents. He was heavily medicated, dying, possibly confused. 2 doctors and a social worker witnessed the signing. All confirmed competency. Medical records support that he was lucid and oriented. The documents are valid. Unless you have contradictory medical evidence? No, Your Honor, but then I see no reason to void them. Mrs. Adams, you're awarded primary custody. Mrs. Henderson, you're awarded visitation. 1 weekend per month, standard schedule. This matter is closed. The gavel came down. I'd won. Officially, legally, finally. Patricia left the courtroom in tears, defeated, angry, resentful, but powerless to change the outcome. Emma and Joshua ran to me, actually ran, hugging me, crying, happy tears this time. We're going home with you? Really? Really. Pack your things. We're going home. Jennifer hugged me. Congratulations. You earned this. Thank you for fighting, for believing in me, for making this happen. You made this happen. By building a life worth coming back to, by being excellent, by proving you're exactly the mother they need. We left the courthouse, Emma holding one hand, Joshua holding the other, walking toward my car, toward our new life, toward family. 5 years. 5 years of waiting, of missing them, of building toward this moment. And now it was here. Real, legal, permanent. I was a mother again. Not just biologically, not just emotionally, but legally, officially, completely. We were going home. Together. Finally. The first month was chaos. Beautiful chaos. Exhausting chaos. But chaos that felt like home. Emma and Joshua moved into my small apartment, shared a bedroom, complained about space, fought over the bathroom, acted like normal kids, like the family we used to be. I reduced my hours at work, 3 shifts instead of 4. Needed time to be present, to rebuild, to make up for 5 years of absence. Money was tight, tighter than before. 2 growing kids are expensive. Food, clothes, school supplies, activities. Everything costs more than you remember. But we managed. I budgeted carefully, cut unnecessary expenses, focused on necessities, and slowly we found our rhythm. Mornings were mine. I'd make breakfast, pack lunches, drive them to school. Normal mom things, things I'd missed for 5 years, things I'd dreamed about. Afternoons, they'd come home, do homework at the kitchen table, tell me about their days, argue with each other, fill the apartment with noise and life and realness. My work nights were covered by Sarah. She'd stay over, make dinner, help with homework, be the reliable adult presence I needed when I was at the hospital. You don't have to do this, I told her. It's too much to ask. You're not asking, I'm offering. Rachel, I watched you rebuild your life, watched you become excellent, watched you fight for these kids. Let me help. Let someone be there for you the way you've been there for so many patients. Thank you. I couldn't do this without you. You could, but you don't have to. That's what friends are for. Emma struggled more than Joshua. She was older, remembered more, had more anger to process, more questions, more confusion about why things had happened the way they did. Why didn't you fight harder, she asked one night. Homework done, Joshua asleep, just us, late-night conversation. Why did you just leave? I didn't just leave. I made an impossible choice. Fight and traumatize you, or leave and protect you. I chose protection. But we thought you didn't love us. We spent 5 years thinking we weren't enough, that you chose something else over us. That hurt more than a custody battle would have. She was right. I'd miscalculated. Thought I was protecting them, but I'd hurt them differently, deeply, permanently. You're right, I admitted. I made the wrong choice. I thought leaving was protecting you, but it wasn't. It was protecting me from watching you suffer. That was selfish. I'm sorry. You never say you're sorry. You always have reasons, explanations, justifications. Because I'm scared. Scared that if I admit I was wrong, you'll realize I'm not the perfect mother you need. That I made mistakes, big mistakes, mistakes that hurt you for years. Mom, I don't need a perfect mother. I need an honest one. Someone who admits when she's wrong, who says sorry, who's real. Then I'm sorry, genuinely, deeply. I made the wrong choice 5 years ago. I should have fought, should have stayed close, should have forced David to tell the truth. But I didn't. I ran, and you paid the price. That's on me, and I'm sorry. She hugged me, tight. Thank you for saying it, for being real. Joshua adjusted easier. He was younger, remembered less, just happy to have his mom back, happy to be home, happy to have family again. Mom, can we get a dog? He asked one Saturday. Typical kid question, typical kid wanting typical kid things. Maybe, when we move to a bigger place, when we have a yard. Dogs need space. When will that be? I don't know. I'm saving, looking at houses. But it takes time, money. We'll get there. Can I help? Can I get a job? You're 9. You can't get a job. But you can help by doing well in school, by being responsible, by being patient while we build this life. I can do that. Patricia visited once a month, court-mandated visitation, one weekend, awkward, tense, still resentful of losing custody. But she was civil, professional, kept her feelings hidden around Emma and Joshua, took them to museums, parks, restaurants, gave them experiences, tried to be the fun aunt rather than the bitter loser of a custody battle. How's it going with them? She asked me during one drop-off. Rare moment of vulnerability. Good. Hard. We're figuring it out. They seem happy. They are. They're home. I wanted that for them. Home, family, stability. I thought I could provide that. You could have. But Patricia, you're not their mother. I am. That matters. Not because blood is everything, but because I'm the one who gave birth to them, who raised them for their first 7 years, who loved them through everything. That history matters. I know. I miss David. They're all I have left of him. They're not David. They're Emma and Joshua. They're their own people. You can have a relationship with them, but not as a replacement for your brother, as their aunt. That's enough. Is it? It has to be. She left. I watched her drive away, feeling something like sympathy. She'd lost her brother, lost custody, lost the children she'd helped raise. That was grief, real grief, complicated grief. But my sympathy had limits. She'd testified against me 5 years ago, had supported David's lies, had kept my children from me. That wasn't forgivable just because she was grieving now. 6 months in, we found our rhythm. Homework routine, dinner routine, bedtime routine. Normal family rhythms that felt miraculous after 5 years of separation. I started looking at houses. 3 bedrooms, small yard, good school district, within my budget. Found a few possibilities. Can we see them? Emma asked. Excited, engaged, invested in building our future. This weekend, we'll look, decide together. We toured houses. Emma had opinions. Joshua wanted the one with the biggest backyard. I wanted something affordable and practical. We found it. Small house, 3 bedrooms, fenced yard, quiet neighborhood, good schools, within budget. Perfect. I made an offer. It was accepted. We'd move in 2 months. Our own house, our own space, our own home. "This is really happening?" Emma asked, standing in the empty living room, imagining furniture, imagining life, imagining future. "This is really happening. We're building a home, together, the 3 of us." "What about Dad? Would he be proud?" "I don't know, maybe. He wanted you to be happy, to be safe, to be loved. You're getting that, so yes, maybe he'd be proud." "Do you miss him?" "No. I miss who he was before the betrayal, but that person died 5 years ago. The man who died last year? I don't miss him. I'm just glad he told you the truth before he was gone." "That's sad." "That's honest. Emma, listen to me. You can miss him. You can grieve him. You can love the memory of the good parts. That's healthy. That's normal. But don't let his memory erase the truth. He hurt us. Badly. We're recovering. That's what matters." "I know. I wish it had been different." "Me too, baby. Me too." But it wasn't different. It was what it was. Broken, messy, complicated, but healing. Slowly, steadily, really healing. We were building something new, something real, something that couldn't be taken away. Family. Real family. Based on truth instead of lies. On presence instead of absence. On love instead of manipulation. That was victory. Real victory. Silent, steady, undeniable victory. We were home. 1 year after regaining custody, I stood in our backyard watching Emma and Joshua play with our new dog, a golden retriever named Buddy. The house was small, but ours. The yard was full of laughter. The life we'd built was real, solid, unshakable. My phone rang. Unknown number. I almost didn't answer, but something made me pick up. "Rachel Adams?" "Yes." "This is Mark Chen from the Houston Chronicle. I'm doing a story on ICU nurses. Your supervisor mentioned you, said you had an interesting story about professionalism under impossible circumstances. Would you be willing to talk?" "What kind of story?" "Human interest, about nurses who maintain professional excellence even when treating people from their personal lives. Dr. Martinez mentioned you treated your ex-husband in ICU, that you kept him alive, that you remained professional despite personal history. That's remarkable. It was my job, that's all. But it's more than that. Most people couldn't do what you did, couldn't separate personal from professional, couldn't maintain excellence while treating someone who'd hurt them. How did you do it?" "I didn't have a choice. He was my patient. I'm a nurse. Personal feelings don't matter in ICU. Only professional competency matters." "But surely you felt something. Anger, vindication, satisfaction?" I thought about that. What had I felt? Standing over David's bed, holding his life in my hands, watching him die slowly while remaining professionally excellent. "I felt powerful," I said honestly. "Not in a vindictive way, but in a competent way. He'd destroyed me 5 years earlier, made me powerless, took my children, ruined my life. And there he was, completely dependent on me, needing me to keep him alive. That reversal was powerful." "Did you consider letting him die? Not helping? Getting revenge?" "Never. That would be unethical, illegal, wrong. I'm a nurse. I save lives, even lives of people who hurt me. That's the job. That's the oath. That's the standard. That's extraordinary. That's professional. There's a difference." "What happened after? Did you reconcile? Did he apologize?" "He apologized, told our children the truth about why I'd disappeared, signed custody documents returning them to me, died 2 weeks after entering my ICU, and now I have my children back, my life back, my family back." That's an incredible story. That's a survival story. I didn't do anything special. I just refused to stay broken, refused to let betrayal define me, built a new life, became excellent at something meaningful, and waited for the opportunity to reclaim what was stolen from me. Can I quote you on that? Quote me on this instead. The best revenge isn't hurting people who hurt you. It's becoming so successful, so competent, so unbreakable that they become irrelevant. That's what I did, and it worked. The article ran 2 weeks later, front page of the local section. ICU nurse treats ex-husband who stole her children, remains professional, regains custody. It went viral. Local news picked it up, then regional, then national. I was getting interview requests, talk show invitations, people calling me inspirational. I hated it. Didn't want to be a story. Didn't want to be inspirational. Just wanted to live my life quietly with my children. But Emma and Joshua were proud. "Mom, you're famous. Everyone at school is talking about it." I'm not famous. I'm just a nurse who did her job. You're more than that. You're someone who survived, who fought back, who won. That matters. Maybe she was right. Maybe my story mattered. Not because I was special, but because I'd done what seemed impossible. Survived betrayal, rebuilt from nothing, remained professional under impossible circumstances, reclaimed my life. Other women started reaching out, women who'd lost custody, who'd been destroyed by divorces, who'd had their children poisoned against them. How did you do it? How did you survive? I focused on something I could control, my career, my competency, my professional excellence. I couldn't control the custody battle, couldn't control my ex-husband's lies, but I could control whether I became excellent at my job. So I did. Did you think you'd ever get them back? I hoped, but I didn't know. I just knew I had to be ready, had to be stable, had to be someone a judge couldn't deny custody to. So I built that person, deliberately, methodically, professionally. That's incredible. That's strategic. I played a long game. 5 years of building, 5 years of waiting, 5 years of becoming undeniable. And when the opportunity came, when David ended up in my ICU, I was ready. Not to take revenge, but to demonstrate competency, to show him and everyone else that I'd become someone untouchable. I started speaking, small groups, divorce recovery groups, single mothers, women rebuilding after betrayal, sharing my story, sharing my strategy, sharing hope. You can survive this, I'd tell them, but survival requires strategy, requires focus, requires building something real. Don't waste energy on revenge. Don't waste time on bitterness. Focus on becoming excellent, on becoming undeniable, on becoming someone no judge can deny. How long does it take? Years, maybe 5, maybe 10, but every day you work toward excellence. Every day you build stability. Every day you become stronger. And eventually, you become untouchable. That's when you win. Sarah attended one of my talks, sat in the back, cried through the whole thing, hugged me afterward. I'm so proud of you, not just for surviving, for thriving, for becoming this. I couldn't have done it without you. You were there for everything, the hard shifts, the impossible days, the moments I wanted to quit. You kept me going. You kept yourself going. I just witnessed it. Emma graduated middle school. Joshua finished 4th grade. We celebrated together, as a family, in our house, with our dog, with our life. Patricia came to Emma's graduation, congratulated her, was civil to me. They look happy. You did a good job. Thank you. That means a lot coming from you. I was wrong about a lot of things, about you especially. I thought you were weak, broken, someone who'd abandoned her kids. But you weren't. You were strategic, playing a long game, building toward this moment. I should have seen that. You saw what David wanted you to see, the lie, the villain, the abandoner. He was very convincing. He was, and I'm sorry, for testifying against you, for supporting his lies, for keeping the kids from you. I was wrong. Apology accepted. And Patricia, thank you for loving them, for taking care of them when I couldn't, for being there. They needed that, even if it was complicated. she cried. "They're good kids. You raised them well. Those first 7 years, they mattered. They made them who they are. We all made them who they are. You, me, even David in his flawed way. They're resilient, strong, honest. That's what matters." That night, after everyone left, I sat on the porch, Emma and Joshua asleep inside, Buddy at my feet, stars overhead, peace surrounding me. 5 years earlier, I'd lost everything: husband, children, home, identity, everything that mattered. Now I had it back, different, rebuilt, stronger, real. This was victory. Not the dramatic kind, not the vengeful kind, but the quiet, steady kind, the kind where you survive, rebuild, thrive, reclaim. The kind where you become so excellent, so competent, so undeniable that the people who destroyed you become irrelevant. That was the lesson, the legacy, the truth I'd share with anyone who'd listen. The best revenge isn't making your enemies suffer. It's becoming so successful they become irrelevant. Build yourself, become excellent, remain professional, play the long game, and eventually, you win. Not by destroying them, but by becoming indestructible yourself. That's power, real power. Silent, professional, undeniable power. That's what I'd become. That's what I'd built. That's what I'd teach my children. Not bitterness, not revenge, but excellence, strategy, survival. And in surviving, I'd won. Completely, finally, permanently. I was Rachel Adams, ICU specialist, single mother, survivor, victor. And my story, my silent, powerful, undeniable story, was just beginning. When someone destroys you, you have two choices: stay destroyed or rebuild stronger. Rachel chose stronger. She didn't waste energy on revenge. She invested it in excellence, in becoming undeniable, in building a life so solid no one could take it away. 5 years. 5 years of professional excellence. 5 years of strategic building. 5 years of waiting for the opportunity to reclaim what was stolen. And when that opportunity came, when her destroyer ended up powerless in her ICU, she didn't gloat, didn't take revenge, just remained professional, excellent, untouchable. That's the most powerful revenge of all. Not hurting them, but becoming so successful they become irrelevant. Build your excellence, play the long game, become undeniable, and eventually you win. Not by destroying them, but by becoming indestructible yourself. That's victory. That's power. That's how you reclaim your life. Now go, build, excel, survive, and become untouchable. That's how you write your own ending.